Alexander Solzhenitsyn, for those of you who are unfamiliar with him, was a prisoner of the state in a gulag in his lifetime and saw things that most men never see. And he wrote a book about it. So if you want to know, you can go dig into that mess, that hot mess. But he did have this beautiful saying, and that was that the line between good and evil resides in the hearts of all men, of all people, and no one is willing to attack their own heart. He was seeing into the fabric of the wisdom or the intelligence, the eye of the heart. He was seeing into that fabric. And it's just a law of nature, seems to be a law of nature. It's like something that we live with in our creation, in this creation, is we live with the fact that everybody has this little tiny, at least to some degree, this little tiny thread, this little needle of darkness in their heart. And it acts like a magnet for abuse. It can be a magnet for abuse. And it can also, of course, cause a person to be unkind or to lose their connection to and their ability to express their virtue that's their potential. We all have the potential to be virtuous, but not everybody exercises that. So that thread can be removed. So I think it's time. Let's do it. We can do it for us anyway. So I was just saying, we were looking into the eye of the heart, right? And so it ties into this question a little bit. When somebody really, really, really hurts your feelings, then you are looking at that thread. It's so small that most of the time you will tend to miss it. But if you think back to a moment where your heart was really, really hurt, that was the moment you were looking at that thread. So we go back to that moment. We look at it. We find it in the annals, the memory, the emotional memories of the soul. We find those moments, maybe multiple of them, when the heart was really, really hurt. This lifetime, past lifetimes. And we say, I see you. Because it's so ugly, it's so painful. The tendency, the pattern, the ancestral patterning is don't look. I don't want to look at that. That's really dark, right? So the patterning is to avoid looking. And if you did start digging or searching for it, it's so small, it's actually hard to find. This is why God has given us the gift on this earth of abusive people. They're a gift. They are our gift because they make it easy to see that thread. You wouldn't see it if you didn't have your heart so hurt. So we think back at that moment and we find that hurt, that really deep, the one that cuts all the way clean. It cuts clean to the inner, when it's somebody that you love so much that in their ideal form, if they had lived up to their full potential, they would have been such a beautiful influence and such a loving presence and such a source of goodness and nurturing and an expression of God's unconditional love. And instead, had the opportunity to do that. Instead, they chose not to. Because most people live and die. They live their whole lives and they die and they never get rid of that thread. But now you know how to find it, right? And it takes two. It's like, it's so hard to get at. It takes another person, and that other person has to sacrifice their own personality in order to be so disagreeable and so harsh that they would hurt your heart. They would hurt your beautiful heart. Such a thing exists in creation. And what a sacrifice that is that they did that. And they let you see it. That's the thread. We find the thread. So we find the thread. It's really, really deep. That thread is a very deep thing. It's like a little, it's a kind of little thing that will tangle with all the threads of awareness that run through the entire web of life. And it does, it tangles with them. So I'm saying that for me, not for you, because as we're doing this part of the healing, where that thread is going to be escorted home to the source of creation, it goes into the underside of that loop. Remember, the loop's kind of like a figure 8, right? So it's going to go to the underside of the loop. We're doing it not just for us as individuals, but I'm part of my focus. You guys' focus, you're finding it here for yourself. But my focus is to what degree can it extend to the collective field and heal our world as well. This also focus. One of the first things that happens is you put your attention on the pain of it, the emotional pain of it. And when you do that, you literally bring the light of the divine. You bring the eye of the heart to pounce upon it, to illuminate it, and to show. It's only strong because it's been hiding inside you for so long. That's the only thing that gives it its power. I mean, it's kind of has power from other areas too, but we shall discuss more on those as we go along. Different laws of nature are leveraged by certain types of dark energies like illusion. But the main thing is once you've got it in your sights, all you do is put your attention on it, and your attention becomes the anchor between that form and the source of creation, which is all healing, resolving, completing, finishing. It's time to finish it. So quietly, I'm just going to feel it now. I'm stretching my awareness out now into the group consciousness and everybody's heart center, and how each of us are escorting that darkness home to the silent field of God's immeasurable, unconditional, absolute love. And there it is. And there it's moving. That's it. The movement happens at the light spot in the chart where it shifts into the inside. It shifts into the source of creation. And it's very interesting. I'll tell you what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing angels, like a lot of angels. I'm seeing angelic forms, which are noetic forms, engaging and supporting and creating space for the people in the group whose hearts are feeling like afraid and they can't trust the process. There are a few people, a lot of you guys have got this, but there are a few people who are feeling like no, I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's like a soft cushion is being padded around that thread. Soft cushion of heavenly light, of angelic energy is being padded. And some scaffolding that's been holding that thread in place in the mental and emotional body is also resolving and dissolving. And for some people, there in the mental and emotional body, the scaffolding that's holding in place is a thought form, which is, I don't deserve, I'm not good enough, I'm insufficient, And on the flip side, the blue side is like, well, I deserve to suffer, you know, I'm not lovable. It's not up to you to decide whether you're lovable or, by the way, just throwing that out there. It's not up to you to decide whether you're lovable or not. God decides. God made us. God decides how lovable we are and if we're lovable. And guess what? You know, I said it a bunch of times in this session. Infinite, infinite, eternal, absolute, unconditional, immeasurable, incomprehensible love, incomprehensible. For those of you who the angelic energies weren't quite enough to soften it, the mother comes. The mother of the universe comes. Her energy is really big. The mother of God, the mother of God is everywhere, seeking out the heart that's willing to let go of that thread, seeking it and providing the resources that allow the thread to dissolve in a way that really is permanent. It's permanent healing. Still some fear. And a few people like, yes, but won't this make me different from the other people on earth? Yes, by the way, it will make you very different from other people on earth. Get used to different. To quote a favorite TV series, get used to different. Get used to different, because we're going to have to different now. We're going to have to be different going forward in order to garner the resources required to literally survive. It's fun to buy in and tie into all of the standard, common, typical Western world principles and culture, especially culture principles, maybe, but cultural values and patterns of behavior. But you have to, there's a point where you have to care enough about what you're doing to heal yourself that you're willing to step out of the standard cookie cutter cartoon character, typical standard structure, and be willing to be different. Be willing to not compare yourself to the standards that other people compare themselves to. That's the bottom line. We're not comparing ourselves ever to anybody. It's all God. God selects and chooses. God selects and chooses how we show up. And it may not be standard, and it may be that throughout the life there was a lot of feeling of, oh, I'm trying to fit in, and doing so by kind of copying or being standard. But now it's time to accept that the relationship that you're going for is the one with the divine, and it's on a whole nother level, and it's not measured by anything in this world. So that we got rid of that, getting rid of that, cleaning away, cleansing away, purifying that big thought form of being standard. I mean, you can still fit into society. You can still, in a way, fit in better. You know, if you want to fit in, if you want to have friends, you know, like, what do they say? Make friends and influence people or something. If you want to, you know, be a person whose living presence, whose divine presence is appreciated in this world. Part of the story is you hold yourself to your own set. There's a special set of standards, and it comes directly from the divine. It doesn't come from us. There's something like, Tom, do you know the name of them? The virtues. There's the something virtues. Are they cardinal or? Anyway, there's 7 virtues, and they're not standardly practiced. Let me just do one more check on everybody's heart just to see how those threads are doing. See if they're gone for good, gone for good, and good riddance, right? And good riddance, because they act like magnets. That little thread will act like a magnet that can bring in the darkest stuff. It's rotten how it sits there hiding in people's hearts. And yeah, it creates like a bit of, there's a blind spot around there. And so the eye of the heart opens and it wants to see everything, but it can't see because there's that little thing is there, that dark energy is there. So it's all clearing away. Let me just check. I'm just checking here. Checking everybody. Oh, checking all of us who are here live and everybody who's listening in the future. And then for all times to come. That angelic pillowy energy that came around to kind of help, it was like oiling it to kind of help it slide back into the ocean of forgetfulness, back to the ocean of God's grace, to be transformed and restructured. That angelic energy loosens it. It softens the context in which we experience it. So some people will be able to experience that thread without having to go through terrible emotional suffering. How nice. How nice. They see it, they find it, they recognize it, and they let it go. They send it home. That's what we do. We escort the darkness home. We see the cycle and it's like, oh, the darkness is here. It's really pretty close to the door to home. So off it goes. And know that the orderliness and goodness of your nature, the value of your being, which is immeasurable. That's why God's love is immeasurable, right? Because our value as human beings is immeasurable. That value has an orderly sort of natural quality. All the laws of nature needed to pull those darker energies back into the source of creation are already inherently baked into the nature of our presence and our being as human beings. We were made for this. This is what we're made for. And remember how we did it? We just focused our attention. We found it with our awareness. As soon as you find it with your awareness is like a flashlight or a light. It goes and beams onto that thing and it grabs it and it just pulls it back into the source of creation. Very little doing. It's like non-doing doing or something. Doing without actually having to do anything, without any effort involved. Effortless doing. You did it. You do it. It's a nice thing about energy healing is that when you do it, you become more familiar with it. And you also become more familiar with the mechanisms that were created by the divine that allow such a doing to occur. It's just beautiful.